There is an indefinable, mysterious power that pervades everything.
That power that can make a way out of no way.
Today, in the world, there's so much suffering because of that one of prayer.
We're live from New York. This is Prayer Revolution. My name is Doyal, and I'm here with a good friend, Vira. And this is our daily prayer podcast every morning. The last 90 plus days, we've been saying a prayer together and discussing that mood of prayer in our daily lives. And we're so glad to be here with our live Zoom audience, as well as our live Facebook streaming audience. And we're happy to have all you listen out there in podcast land for tuning into our recording. We're grateful to be here, grateful to be with you. And now I want to ask how you doing, Vera?
I'm doing good, man. You know what? I got my flashcards. You inspired me yesterday, and got my flashcards. And just gonna, what I was doing in the past is I would write down a verse like once a week. I'd write down a verse, and then I would just spend, a few minutes with that verse every day, reciting it, repeating it, closing my eyes, connecting life to it, just kind of integrating it into my my inner world. And so, thank you for that, Doral. Thank you.
Welcome. Yesterday, Vera was inspiring us with his prayer and his meditations and his sharings. And at the end of it, we decided that we would start a verse learning group. And so our good friend Aditi volunteered to be the coordinator. And people have been reaching out to her. If you want to get on we started a WhatsApp group. And then we don't know the format of it exactly, but we'll have something where we connect regularly to learn verses together, that those verses can be our companions, that we want to, when I'm got a few free minutes, I got 5 minutes, I got 10 minutes, I'm waiting in line, or I'm waiting for dinner to come, or waiting for a friend to show up, or I'm the first person in the Zoom group to show up, and rather than just like checking my emails or scrolling through Instagram or counting the ceiling tiles or whatever it is, I can pull up a verse that I have saved somewhere on my phone or in a flashcard and just recite these quotes from sacred literature, that they can kind of get ingrained in our memory, and they become friends, they become companions, and they start to kind of like wash over our consciousness and become pillars that we lean on during times of uncertainty or during times of doubt or question, that we actually can, they'll appear to us in times of need. And so you inspired that journey for us here. If somebody, Nicole saying, I'd like to join. Zoe, I want in the WhatsApp group. Trisha's, I'm in, let me know what to do. Aditi G is our coordinator for this group. And so I don't know if you want to put your contact info again, Aditi, or you can let people know. But if you know Aditi at all, she's on our chat right now. You can even send her a private chat if you want right now. She's our coordinator. She's organizing. So would love to have all you guys in there. So that's it. So you got your flashcards here.
Got my flashcard.
What you been flashing?
Well, my flashcards are blank, but I got them.
That's the first step. I posted yesterday that just for today, I will celebrate the small victories. And that's a small victory. So I celebrate you in that endeavor.
Yeah, totally. I love the idea of celebrating small victories. I love that. And I think that we could so easily just, we could look past all the amazing things that we do for ourselves every single day. And I know, everybody on here is doing something steadily every single day, taking care of their families, showing up to work, praying, meditating, eating meals, breathing, living life, whatever it is, acts of service. There's so many things, petting their little puppy dog, giving them lots of love and affection. There's so many things that we can celebrate, just in our own, the way we're showing up to life every single day. And they're little, oftentimes. It's just making your bed. Making your bed. Man, a lot of people don't make their bed,
I haven't made my bed since April.
Yeah, making our bed, washing the dishes, feeding the horse, whatever it may be, right? Going for that walk, whatever that is, that yoga class, that whatever it is.
What's that phrase? How you do anything is how you do everything.
How you do want something is how you do everything.
How you do something is how you do everything.
Yeah.
There you
So
go.
celebration. Yes. Okay. So let's dive in. Let's dive into prayer. Doyal, would you like to lead us in prayer today?
Vera, I tuned in to listen to you. So I want to hear your voice.
Okay. And Isa, she'll let us know when she's ready. She can give us a heads up beforehand, so we're not putting her on the spot.
Isabel said she would lead us someday.
Hi.
Hey,
Yeah.
Isabel.
Hi. I'm happy to do it tomorrow if you want.
All right.
Oh,
There you
great.
go.
Unless you.
Isabel is on deck for tomorrow. We got you. Put her on the deck.
Great. Thank you.
Amazing, Isabel. Looking forward to hearing your heart.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, let's close our eyes. Let's take a few moments to reconnect. Pause whatever you're doing right now, and we're just entering into a state of being. Trusting that life is unfolding perfectly. We don't have to control it, but it's unfolding perfectly. A perfect journey taking us back home, day by day, moment by moment, step by step. We're on a journey back home, a journey of spiritual awakening, a journey of realizing truth, realizing who we are, realizing where we come from, realizing what takes place when the body perishes, where our eternal home is. We're realizing all of these things. Let's trust that. Let's trust that. Any one of us right now, that every one of us, that we're on this journey. We're on this journey. Let's trust that. Now, as we're on this journey, we're on this sojourn in this world, material world. What is it today on this journey that you're calling in? What is it that you need support with? Or what is it that you want to celebrate more of? What is it that you want to increase in your life? Calling in that intention. Intention is so powerful. When we have clear intention and we let our life filter through it, living life on purpose, taking responsibility for our life, recognizing that in this journey in the material world that we're the source of the pleasures and the pains, because they originate in our consciousness. They originate, either we're giving into our mind, accepting and rejecting so many things, or we're surrendering to life unfolding, and we're finding blessings and we're finding lessons and growth in every single thing that takes place. Taking that responsibility, calling in that intention. What is it that you're wanting more of in your life? What are those qualities you're looking to connect with more deeply? And stating them in present tense. If you're seeking gratitude, I am grateful. If you're seeking forgiveness, I have forgiven. Whatever that quality is, stating it as it already exists right now. You're invoking it right now. My Lord, today, let us celebrate. It can be so easy to come into a passionate mode of consciousness where life is always a step ahead. Fulfillment, happiness, gratitude is always a day away. It's always in just the things that we do. It's so fleeting. And that even when we do accomplish things, we're on to the next thing. It doesn't actually satisfy. We're immediately thinking about what's next. We're immediately thinking about another area that we're lacking, that needs improvement. We can live a life that's actually just so hard on ourselves. There's a gentleness, like a father or mother for their child who's learning how to crawl, who's learning how to walk, who's learning how to speak, who's learning everything, and could somehow be perceived as making mistakes, tumbling over, or crying when they get stuck and they're crawling, or getting frustrated when they can't find the words for what they're trying to communicate. But a loving mother and father, there's no judgment. There's appreciation, there's encouragement, there's acceptance, there's celebration for the attempt to grow, for the attempt to awaken, the attempt to transform our consciousness. We're all little children in this world, my Lord. And along the way, we will stumble, we will fall, we will make mistakes. We will forget how to respond with love, compassion, grace. We'll fall into old patterns, into negative ways of thinking and acting in this world. Let us remember that we are children too. And let us remember that you're smiling and celebrating just our attempt to transform. Just the sincere attempt to grow, to be better for ourselves, for the people around us, and for you. So let us celebrate that today. Let us feel your love for us. Let us feel that warmth, that embrace, that care, that compassion, that motherly and fatherly unconditional love. It's not in something that we are doing, but it's just in who we are, sincerely attempting to awaken, sincerely attempting to be better. That sincere attempt that's worthy of celebration eternally. So let us celebrate this morning. Let us feel that celebration of our beloved Lord smiling down on all of us, each and every one of us that are just trying our best. We're just trying our best, and that's all we can do, to keep trying our best. Let that be celebrated in itself. So grateful for you, my Lord. I pray that everyone in the world can feel that love and compassion a little bit more in their life. And knowing that it starts with us, any change that we're hoping to see in the world around us starts with us, starts with ourselves. So let's bring that gentleness. Let's bring that love, that compassion. Let's bring it a little bit more into our life today, celebrating our sincere attempt to grow and to transform and awaken spiritually. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you, Vira.
Thank you, Baba.
It's like everyone's coming out of like a hibernation.
Mm.
It's like
Yeah,
yeah, please.
Go ahead, Dora.
No, I was just saying it's like waking up from like a long shavasana or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there really is an internal universe. There really is a universe inside, you know? And we, I feel it too. I feel it collectively when we're together, that we really support each other to walk through that door and to actually really to go inside. That it's sometimes it can feel like something that is amorphous, or it's too subtle to actually experience, but it's more real and more true, more palpable than anything externally. It's just that we're conditioned to an external life. We're conditioned to the solutions and the hopes and the dreams that we have being in the external world. And so I feel that, and it's so powerful, and I'm so conditioned to to spend my life, my thinking, and my actions, to spend it externally. I'm so conditioned to that. And there's just a whole universe that's unexplored, within our hearts and our consciousness. And we sit down, we pray for a few minutes, sometimes more, sometimes less. We can live our life from that place. I was reading. There's a spiritual teacher. He's a disciple of Paramahamsa Yogananda, or a student of his, and also, you know, very favorable toward bhakti and very universal in his spiritual outlook. And his name's Michael Singer, and he has a temple. It's called the Temple of the Universe in Alachua. And I was reading his biography. I'm always interested in different people, their biographies, and it's just I love stories, and I love hearing people's experiences. And he said, you know, he was sitting down with his brother-in-law, or it was his girlfriend's brother, and they were having a conversation in his living room, and he became very hyper aware of his mind, and very observant. Like he was no longer just thinking and totally just like in the thinking mind, and then, you know, acting based on the thoughts. He was completely separated from his thoughts, and he was watching them, and he was like, whoa. And it completely changed his life. That moment on, he had this acute awareness of his thoughts, and him being separate from his thoughts. And a little bit later in the story, he starts practicing Zen Buddhist meditation. And that becomes like a foundational practice for him to go within. And he was sitting in silence. He went on a camping trip with his friends, and he just asked for some alone time. And he had set intention that he wasn't going to get up until the voice stopped. He was going to sit in meditation until until he kind of came to that place where the mind was quiet. And so he's sitting down to meditate, and he's meditating on his breath, and he's meditating on the sensations that he's feeling inside of his body. And he comes to this place where he comes to a place in his meditation where the mind is no longer narrating. There's no narration. And he goes through waves and waves and waves of kind of coming to a little place of stillness, a little place of feeling the mind kind of ease. And then he would notice that his mind would start to comment again on the experience and how blissful the experience was. And so then he would go, he's like, okay, let's go deeper. And then at a certain point, he heard a voice inside that said, do you really want to, achieve enlightenment? Do you really want to experience? Doyal, I don't know if you can mute I think somebody's thing came unmuted.
You just got to unmute yourself here.
Yeah. And so, yeah, so sharing all of that to, yes. And so as he's going in, he's realizing that he comes to a place of complete inner satisfaction. Complete, there's no mind anymore. There's no him anymore. He doesn't know where he is, who he is, what he is. The voice is completely stopped. He's just in complete rapturous presence. The voice is completely stopped. I've experienced that for like a millisecond in my life, like a couple seconds, and yeah, Bhakti-yoga. Yeah, Casey's, you got it. So Untethered Soul, that's one book, and the other one that is called Surrender Experiment, which is his biography. And then he comes into this internal place where everything that he was looking for in his life, he's found it. He's found it. And everything that he was looking for in his life, he's found it. He's beginning to, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, as one moves beyond the mind, the supersoul is reached. But there's a connection that when the mind ceases to narrate and ceases to, there's this constant energy that it's putting pressure on us to accept things, reject things, like things, not like things, comment on things, have problems with things, like people, hate people. It's constantly going through this intense internal dialogue, that when we have moved beyond the mind, that our soul and super soul, that's what's beyond that chatter. That's what's beyond that constant energy of the mind. And so I don't know exactly what he was experiencing, but he shares in his book that he comes into a state of real inner bliss and fulfillment. And then I was thinking about my own meditation practice, and a lot of us I know meditate that are on here, and that, you know, how often do I sit down to meditate, and I kind of sit down with the intention, you know, like, or ever have I ever sat down with the intention? Have I ever given myself a couple of hours, or, you know, a day, a half a day, even three,
Yeah.
even whatever, and just say, I'm not getting up until I really hear this mantra, till I really allow myself to hear this mantra. I'm not going to get up, you know? And how many things in my life do I pursue day after day, after week, after week, after year, where there's a real, you know, whether it's career or it's a partnership or it's whatever it is, how many things do I pursue externally? My whole life, I pursue them. I'm given a tremendous amount of energy to my whole life. But when it comes to this internal world, this internal universe, which makes or breaks our experience of life, which either makes it heaven or makes it hell, when it comes to actually investing there, going in deeply, exploring there, how much time am I dedicating to that, you know, and how much intention am I bringing around that? So as we're, you know, talking today about celebrating, and as we're talking today about, you know, yeah, just being able to recognize, you know, the opportunity that's there for us, celebrating the few minutes that we were in meditation, that we were in prayer just now, and coming out of it, and it's like, whoa, like, man, it's like a little mini vacation, you know? It's like, whoa, even when I go, yeah, there's times where I've gone to the most beautiful places in the world and still suffered, you know? I don't know if anyone can relate to that, but, you know, yeah, right. Like being in the most beautiful place ever. And I'm like, oh, dang, I brought my mind with me. Well, forgot to leave that dude back in New York.
It'd be great if they could just scan that at like security in the airport. Like you walk through, it's like beep, beep, beep. Oh, you brought your mind. Sorry, your mind cannot come on this plane.
Totally. Yeah, totally. And so, yeah, you know, just tying it all back in. We experience that when we go into prayer. We experience it for a few minutes. It's available to us. I mean, we could literally, and this is what yoga is. Yoga is experiencing the self. Yoga is reconnecting to the self and reconnecting to God. You know, that when we reconnect to ourself, naturally all that we seek and everything that we do in our life is God. We see God in everything and everyone, every experience of our life. And that's an internal universe that exists, that's untainted. It's not something we have to fabricate or build, but it's something that, you know, by going in, by quieting the mind, by being with the holy names of God, by being deep in our meditation practice, reconnecting to the divine, that unfolds, that awakens, that mirror is cleansed, so we can have that internal experience. And when we connect with it profoundly, then there's no going back. We connect with it more and more as we'll come to a tipping point where you can't return. So
It's like Fiji water.
we need an analogy for that. Come on, DG.
Well, it's like you like everyone like Fiji water is like the most coveted like bottled water. It's like pure, and like on their bottles, I think it's like, you know, deep beneath the coral coast and like the island of Fiji, like underneath, there's like this reservoir of water that's been like untouched by modern pollution, where they go deep in to gather this water, which is like the purest water on the earth, and they harvest it and bottle it and sell it, you know, globally. And so it's kind of like you were talking about that inner universe. It's like there's this place like deep beneath the gunk that we've accumulated, like the samskars and the identities and and all the junk that our mind just gets just subjected to, all the commercial tunes and all the TV shows and all the insults and all the gossip and all of the judgments and all of the et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's like deep beneath all of that, there's like this pure consciousness that's been untainted by material energy, that's beneath and beyond all of that. And it's like the journey of yoga is to come underneath and to really swim in that energy. You know? It's like Fiji water.
Love it, DG. I love it. Yeah, you always bring in the best analogies off the spot. We need a book of analogies by Doyal Gorunga.
And Krishna says that he's the taste of water. He probably
Yeah.
meant Fiji water.
Yeah, you know what? I'm pretty sure if you look deep into purports of that, you may find a reference to Fiji water. Yeah, it's amazing. Pankaj, when we chant God's names, purification of the heart happens. Yeah, it's strangely beautiful. So such a beautiful analogy, DG. I love it. And that's, you know, we get a little glimpse of that. We get a little glimpse of that. And you know, it's like yesterday we were talking about, you know, how can we fill the gaps in our life? How can we fill the gaps with God consciousness? Which basically, as we fill the gaps, you know, we're filling the gaps with going internal, right? We're going external. We're going external. We're going external. We're like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. God's will is unfolding. You know, I'm observing this. I'm pausing. I'm observing life unfolding. I'm observing my emotions and the fluctuations. I'm observing my thoughts. I'm observing my mind bouncing around like a monkey. And I pause and I go inside. I'm going inside. I'm saying, my Lord, make me an instrument of your grace. Make me an instrument of your will. My Lord, help me to see you in everything that I do. We're pausing to go inside, to touch God, to touch our soul. It's like when you're, you know, it's like playing tag. You got the base, right? You go, boom, you touch the base, you know. You're safe. You know, we're going in and touching, tagging that, connecting to God, connecting to ourselves. And, you know, more that we're doing that, we actually create that internal life. The more that we really do that. And I noticed for myself, Dan and I were talking about it last night. We're reading a beautiful book together right now. It's called Japa, which we've mentioned on here a few times. Japa.
One of my favorite books.
Yeah, mine too. Read it a few times by Burijan Das. And, you know, and he's just saying, hey, the mind's going to present so many ideas. It's going to present so many ideas for pleasure. So that's what it's constantly doing. How to avoid pain and how to find pleasure. That's the whole thing is based off those two principles of our mind. That's based on my past, based on my conditioning. Oh, when I see that car, it reminds me of my ex, and now I'm feeling pleasure. Avoid all red Mustangs at all costs, you know, avoid, you know, whatever it is, right? Whatever those things are, we're basing it off our past conditioning. We're not basing it off of truth. And so, you know, actually, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually how to base it off of our connection with God, how to base it off of, and so the mind is presenting all these different ideas that are supposedly going to bring us fulfillment and happiness, you know, but what we're being guided to do is to actually neglect the mind. We're being guided to do that. The yogic teachings are saying, don't listen to your mind. It's all good. You know, you're not, you know, beating your mind up or making it wrong. Just don't listen to it. Don't give it the reins of your life.
Yeah, I was listening to, I saw something pop up on the internet the other day. It said that don't accept criticism from someone that you wouldn't go to for advice.
Right.
And so, you know
So
what I mean?
the mind.
So it's like the mind, you know what I mean? It's like, who said that my mind is someone to listen to? You know what I mean?
That crazy roommate who, if it was a person, you would not be caught dead with.
And you know what I mean? And so like we care so, like we get a little criticism or we get some judgment or something, you know, from people, but it's like, are those people, like, what if I wouldn't go to this person for advice, why am I accepting their criticism? You know? And it's like, my mind is not a person that like I really should be going to for advice, you know, but I accept its judgments and its pushing. You know what I mean? Like if I want to seek, if I need advice, my mind's driving me crazy. I go to a friend, or I go to a mentor, I go to a teacher. I'm not gonna be like, okay, mind, like you and me, we're gonna figure this out. So why do I give it so much credence? Its judgments on me, or my my pushing, etc. So it's like learning how to like let that voice, and sometimes the voice of the mind just needs to come and needs to go. Like we're not gonna ever like get rid of our mind, but we can just let it come and let it go. Like a noisy siren. And you ever like, if you're in New York City, this happens a lot. I'm sure happens other places. You're on the phone with somebody and like a massive siren is coming up, you know? And it's like, okay, sorry. And everyone just has to stop talking. It's like, okay, hold on. I'll wait for it to pass. And then it passes and you're like, okay, continue the conversation. The mind is like that. The mind is like getting loud, like this big. So hold a second. My mind's going a little nuts. Let me just wait for it to pass. Just let your rowdy mind just pass, move on, and then like proceed with sanity.
Right. You know, and then that's what we're coming to. This whole thing, we're wrapping it up right now. We're wrapping it up. The whole thing we're saying is that internal world is beautiful. That internal world is beautiful. And either we're giving in, like, you know, DG, you're giving us, you know, that a clear way to see. Either we're giving into that, you know, let's just say this. Let's give the premise. Let's not take advice from that crazy roommate, AKA your mind. Let's not take advice from, let's not take face value. Let's, especially when we're sitting down to meditate, especially when we're sitting down to pray, and in life in general. And so that, you know, we have the opportunity to go internal, and that means I'm going to neglect my mind. That's a part of it. And there's different ways that we could look at that. There's different ways that we could, there are practices of how to actually move beyond the mind, and they can be a little different for each person. And at the same time, you know, that if I want to touch God, if I want to go internal, it means that I'm letting go of all the gossip. I'm letting go of all those narrations. I'm letting go of my mind. And I'm grabbing onto the lotus feet of the Lord through the holy name, grabbing onto that prayer through connection with God.
Don't listen to the crazy roommate of the mind. And if you have a physical crazy roommate, I suggest considering moving. Do what you got to do. Put yourself in good association and recognize that starts with your mind. So how do I make my mind good association?
Sitting down.
That's what Martha's saying. What if instead of neglecting our mind, we selectively feed our thoughts with the beauty within us, be mindful, be aware to the charge of our mind, so we can actually change the nature of our mind. We can renegotiate the relationship with our mind.
Absolutely.
That's a whole other topic.
Absolutely. Let's go into the garden. Let's pull up all that junk, those limiting beliefs, those falsities, those untruths. Let's do that. And at the same time, let's focus on that beautiful creeper of love of God. That's what we want to nourish. When we sit down to meditate, you know, we're sitting down to hear God's names, not to hear the narration of our mind. You know, so it takes that strong intention. Otherwise, we're all just listening to our mind all day long, and it's creating all these feelings inside, and those feelings are moving us into actions. And so let's pause. Let's fill those gaps with our spiritual practices, like we were talking about yesterday. And
beautiful.
Yeah.
Love you, Vira. Love all you guys out there. Thanks so much for tuning in, for being with us. We're super, super grateful to see you every day.
Mm-hmm.
We're here every day, 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Thanks for tuning in. And reminder, this week's the countdown. Today's Thursday?
Today's Thursday, yeah.
Today's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. On Saturday is the one-day retreat with Ranat Swami, Raghunath, Yogi Charu, Janavi, and Jagadish Hari. If you haven't signed up or got your ticket yet, please go to bhakticenter.org/online. Tell your friends. It can be a full-packed online day of Sangha, nourishment, asana, meditation, wisdom, questions and answers, connection via the interweb. So we'd love to see you there. So please check it out. It's this Saturday from 7:15 all the way to like 4:30 or something like that, Eastern time. So wherever we are in the world, please tune in. Tell your friends. Let us and join us. It's going to be an awesome day. We'll let you know today. We'll remind you tomorrow. And then we will see you all again tomorrow. Please join us in. We love you guys. Take care.
Have a beautiful day, guys.
Bye-bye.